how do I start this off? The absolute ridiculousness of Evangelion. No, what do I? So, review of Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0 thrice upon a time. So it's like Christmassy, I guess. I'm not even sure. But this is the theatrical release. So not they like this came out last year. Didn't watch it. Kind of forgot to. It's been on Prime for a long time. They're all there, so that's nice. But what was I gonna say about Prime? The quality sometimes is terrible. The quality is ass sometimes on Prime at least, and I was like, man, I really want to see that in theaters. I like seeing a lot of these types of movies in theaters. So I went and I saw it in theaters, and I don't understand how people who like this series get it. And I saw it, and I know everyone's gonna say, "Oh, the dubbing is wrong, this and that is wrong," but that's not the problem with this movie. Well, actually, this movie doesn't have a lot of problems. It's just confusing as hell. That's the biggest problem. Is that just you don't know what the hell's going on. You don't know who's shooting who at sometimes, and all that. But at the same time, even with how confusing this whole series is, this movie's pretty close to a masterpiece as you could get. So, because before I saw this, I was like, okay, let me read some reviews. Because again, I had never seen, I watched the trailer. Great trailer, by the way, too. I watched the trailer. I was like, I'm waiting till theaters. And then, like I said, I kind of forgot. But eventually I was like, I'm just going to wait till theaters. Waited till theaters, saw it. And the way people online describe this movie, you would think they're describing like, who's the great director? Like a Martin Scorsese movie, right? The way people tell like it's a masterpiece, it's great, it's this, it's that. And already I know Evangelion. I've watched the show, years ago. I don't remember really. I don't remember each of those movies. I know I've seen You're Not Alone and the first one, the the resurrection of Evangelion. I've seen those. I've seen the show. I know Masato, her, Hinji. I say his name wrong. I'm sorry if I say these names wrong, but I know all about that, right? I know that she, eventually becomes the head, and then in this movie, she has glasses and a hat on until the very end. I'm like, she looks ridiculous with that. I will say that design of her needs to be just put in the trash for a while. Like the hat and the glasses combo in this movie was great. When I first saw it, I didn't even quite know if it was her or not. I mean, I knew, but I was like, why did they do that? Why she's showing like no, it's odd. She's showing a lot of emotion before, but in this movie she's very stoic. Like even when she gets shot. So beyond that, great movie, right? Overall, great movie. I know what you're thinking. How can it be confusing? And some parts are just like a giant robot with a machine gun shooting everybody. How can it be at the same time a great movie? Well, it's probably because, and people online saw that they said this too. It's the continuation, right? The reason why this movie is great, this alone, that's the problem. If you saw this movie alone, it would not be a masterpiece to you. It's the fact that it's the end of Evangelion. That's why it wraps up in a great way. So, because at first I was like, wait, why? Because in the beginning I was like, master, but like, I don't know. I think some of the other movies were better. The first half of this movie, them dealing with the fact that they're the last human society on Earth that is protected by the things they put in the ground, the big red things that, okay, I don't know if people know this or not, but if you don't know Evangelion, it's basically sentient robots from another planet were awoken, and there are a few people that can control them, these robots, and some bad guys have robots and some good guys have robots, and one of the bad guys is the main character's father, who can also control the robots. If I were to go on a real, maybe I will one day. The problem is I don't remember enough. Ugh, which is, I'll get back to another problem with this movie. 2 hours and 45 minutes this was. So, but again, it is the ending. It is like they're wrapping things up. I don't know what they're going to do after this, though, but I understand that. But it was long as hell. The point I'm saying is that if you don't know what this Evangelion is, you gotta just look up like a video describing the history of it, because it's past that. I can't describe all that for you. It's too much. So, but this movie in particular is basically about them knowing that there's an opening to where they can kill the last Evangelion robot, and they want to get there before the guy's dad, the evil guy, right, gets there and takes over the robot and uses it for his own evil deeds. Spoiler alert, he kind of does do it. He kind of does achieve it. They both kind of achieve the same thing, except the power of good prevails pretty much at the end. Yeah, but overall, this movie was very good. So again, the story is, it starts off him in the beginning. They're dealing with the remnants of the last attack. The world is dealing with the fact that they're the last people in town. They are only protected by this orb, basically. And not only that, but they see other giant creatures walking around. By the way, the creatures are people. It's a long story, but the creatures are basically infected people, because at the end of the movie, they kill the last Evangelion, and these robots that people can control, these giant robots, are forms of people. I know it's fucking complicated as hell. That's why you gotta look up a video. The point is, good prevails in the end, and in the beginning, they're still dealing with the last attack. That goes on. What's her name? I wrote down the names on my sheet over here. Rei, R-E-I, right? I always forget her name. Rei, the character, she's had memory problems for a while, even in the last movie. She finally dies in this movie, right? She finally can't live in the bubble. She has to be outside of the bubble that they're in, because she's not technically human. So she dies. That sets off pretty much everything else. That pretty much sends this signal, you would say, that the time has come and that there is an opening to kill the robot, right? That's all you really need to know. They're both sides are going to kill this robot. One wants to take it, one wants to kill it. That's the whole movie. About halfway through this movie, everything's getting ready. They're preparing to go down into this area where the robot is, which is basically deep in that's the whole problem with this movie. It's they're trying to go into an area that can't be inhabitable by normal people. That's why they have to use robots to get down there, and that's where these people come in who can control the robots. So there's only a handful of people. It's the kid, Rei, who else? What's her name? Right. Asuka, but no, who's the other guy? Right, Gendo, his dad. I always forget that name. And all these people can control the robots. So they're all down there. And the opening opens. They're ready to go down there. They're ready to get the robot. They go down there. They're fighting for the robot. And what do you know happens? What happens in every anime? They both get what they want. It's an insane way to do it, though. Because they get to the robots. The good guys get to the robots, right? Asuka, the main character, evolves basically trying to kill this robot, right? She evolves. She goes to stab the robot. The robot just awakens for no reason and kills her. So then Hinji has to go and pretty much save the day, right? And fight his dad. His dad doesn't die. He kind of just like explodes into energy. It's kind of what he wanted anyway. And everyone's happy ever after. He doesn't have his father anymore, but that's the whole point. They're all trying to get this robot the robot basically explodes and the whole world gets better. But the bad guys kind of get what they want. They die and like their soul goes to where they want it to go. The most complicated movie ever. If you didn't get any of that, it's okay. Don't worry. But the real review here is the theater experience for this movie, which was pretty great. I'm glad they put it on out in theaters because I think they need to do this with every movie, just like except sooner. It took too long for Evangelion to get into theaters. There was another not the last one, but there was like I think there was 2 movies that never hit theaters, at least not here in America. I'm pretty sure. I don't know why. Maybe the box office wasn't gonna be that good. I know like Netflix has like a certain time, like they'll do it for like a week or 2 weeks. I don't know. The movie releases are getting weird now because China's now is not allowing some movies, and I don't know, the movie release schedule for things is getting pretty wild. Yeah, some countries are like kind of banning movies now. It's very odd, but we got this movie and it's pretty good overall. The problem comes when you don't really know what's going on, because even I during this movie was like, wait, that happens and this happens. Wait, okay, I kind of remember that. I kind of remember why she wouldn't remember this, or what's the significance of this, even when the main bonding moment between Hinji and his father is when he gives him this old tape recorder that he had, and it basically reminds him of his youth. And the whole reason why he wants the robot anyway is because Hinji, his mother, died like right after giving birth to Gendo. His father gave birth to Hinji, right, and died right after. And then now Gendo has been making copies of the wife. None of them are real; they're all robots of his wife. And he's been constantly wanting to bring her back to life. That's the whole point. He thinks this robot will not only save the world, but will save his wife and bring her back to life. That's why he wants the robot. And his wife is God, these names. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting. I truly do know these movies. My memory is terrible. Ray. He wants to bring her back, right? And there's at the end of this movie, right? So he's been making clones of her for a while, and they can all control robots also. And so he's been making these robots, and she dies in the beginning. Remember what I said, that she can't live outside. She can't really live in the human bubble. She needs to be outside with the other creatures, in where the creatures live. And she dies. So we don't see her for pretty much the whole movie. At the end, there's this giant Ray, basically like a younger Ray than the one we saw, come to life. It's like I don't even know how to like put the size into measurements. It's like 1,000. It's unbelievably huge, right? And it's a human, and I can only describe it as a surreal, out of the movie experience, as in the animation of her, this giant Ray at the end, doesn't fit with the rest of the movie. And so it's this odd, I don't know the names of a lot of animation style, but it's almost claymation in traditional animation. You know what I mean? So think of almost like what show would I compare this to? I'm trying to think. I don't know. Think of like Gumball. Like Gumball in that show. Well, some characters are like furry, like they're like not the same animation as everybody else, right? So the balloon is kind of like almost like a real balloon, like that. So she's like a completely different animation. And in the movie theater, because I never watched this, so I didn't know this was going to happen. But when she is created, when she's birthed in the movie, she comes up and you just at first see her blue hair, and then they cut to a giant eyeball. And I almost laughed so fucking hard when I saw that because I just was not prepared for that. I was not prepared to see her face like that. It was very funny. Very, very funny. Um, Again, not bad funny. It was just like a funny like almost shocking. And then you like she's so again, the scale is so big that I was like, how is it possible that they're going to kill her? Because they now have to kill her because she is a clone. She's a robot that the dad made, and he basically controls her through thoughts. And so they have to destroy her. And the way they do this is by, again, we saw this woman die in the movie already. The way they kill her is by taking their ship through her eyeball, which at first I did not think they were going to do. And then they did it. And it was like, it was odd. I was like, that can't be the only way you kill her. That can't be. There was no other way to do that. They went straight through her eyeball. And what's crazy is it took no time. She was birthed, and they're like, everyone's like, oh my God, I didn't think she was real. They're like, all right, we're going to have to kill her. All right, how are we going to do that? Let's go through her eyeball. I don't know. I just didn't see that coming. Very good. I just did not. Maybe that's why it's a masterpiece, people are saying, because I didn't see that coming. Also, again, if I am describing this movie terribly, I'm sorry. I don't watch. Maybe I need to go back and watch each one of these. I haven't watched them in years. And even when I did watch them, that's the thing. I watch a lot of anime, but I just don't remember a lot of it. That's my biggest problem. I don't remember a lot. There's just so much, like One Piece. I know the overarching story of One Piece. I just don't know each details. These details I don't know. What else can I say about this movie? It was good. It was good. The characters are great. The ending was great. The art style, great. The action, pretty amazing. I gotta say, if you want to see this movie purely for the action alone, if you just want to like go on Amazon Prime and just click through and just see the action, I wouldn't blame you. It's pretty great. And the action's great. The ending was kind of sad. Sorry if you heard my desk. The ending was kind of sad. Overall, very good. Not a bad movie at all. Yeah, but that and wow. And that combined, right? That the movie was very good, but combined with it being in theaters, I think is great because I then went on Amazon after seeing this and clicked through, and it's not the same. It's not the same. If you have, because when I upload this, there'll probably be one day to go see it in theaters. You should. It's a good experience. It's fun to see. Sorry about that. But yeah, it's fun to see. What else can I say about it? I don't know. Overall, it summed up a lot of things. What's her name? The girl in purple. The purple girl. I forget these women's names. No. What's her name? Kether's the guy. Oh yeah, that was sad too. I forgot about him. Yeah, there's another girl that can control a robot. That was also good. I forgot her name. They're all great. Every character is great in here. But here's the thing about this movie, though, is that the overall movie-going experience is mid at best. Because movie theaters they're dirty now. Like, actually going to the movie theaters is like, it could be great, but if you're in a regular screen, if you're not in like a Dolby or a IMAX or that laser, what do they call it? Laser something, it sucks. It just overall sucks. I think they take like special care of the Dolby screens or something, because once you go into any other screening that's not a Dolby or premium, as they call it, a premium thing, they don't give a shit. They don't take care of the seats. They don't clean it. It's terrible. I think even when I lived in New York, that was still there. It was still there. I don't know what it is as a whole, but the movie going experience is also, a guy fell asleep, which I am till this day still confuses why people pay to fall asleep in movie theaters. It really baffles me. If the movie's too late for you, go see it another day, if you know you're going to fall asleep. And if it's a movie like this that's limited release and it's like late, or you're going to fall asleep, then I don't know, drink a bunch of coffee before. I don't know. But the paying and falling asleep in movie theaters, since I was a kid, has always baffled me. Never understood why people did that. It's like you pay a bunch of money to fall asleep. I don't get it. I was slouching down, like I was like, okay, I can't get too into that, but yeah, the whole movie going experience is terrible, not good. Also, I when I was a kid, when I was younger, I mean I'm still young, but when I was even younger, movie hopping used to be like a real like problem. You know what I mean? Like not to do it, but it used to be like you used to have to really watch out for it. And maybe it's just because I'm older in general, but now I feel like I could just like go into any movie, pay what, as long as you pay. I feel like you could just like go into, what I'm trying to say is like on an off day, right? Not on like a release weekend, right? A premiere weekend. During the week, you could just go to any movie theater. Like nobody is in there. And it's odd because I think this is like something that's happening everywhere. I don't think people go to the movies nearly as much as they used to, because I used to have to, if I was movie hopping, right, the way to do it for me was to leave the movies, like whatever movie you're in that you paid to see, leave it at like 15 minutes, maybe even like 10 minutes, right before the ending. Like when you feel it's about to get wrapped up, you leave, and then you go into another, because you don't want to leave when everyone else leaves and then go into another, because that's obvious. And I know a lot of people might think, well maybe they won't be able to tell, but it's actually the reverse. When you're like just like alone walking between screens, everyone thinks you just went to the bathroom and now you're going back. If someone sees you going out of the movies with everyone else, instead of you leaving or going to the bathroom and you go into another movie, or just the opposite way, it's very obvious. But again, the other way is to leave a little bit early so you're the only one in the hallways, so you just go into a movie. That's the real thing. A lot of people think to go unnoticed you have to be with a bunch of people. Really, to go unnoticed you just have to be really just inconspicuous, but just alone. That's the whole point of doing that, So not to like give anyone ideas or anything, but that's the way you do it. But I feel like no one is in the movie theaters. I mean, it's pretty crazy. It's very odd. It like it's been empty the last couple times, like very empty. Maybe it's just the movies I'm going to, but I don't know. I went to Wakanda, Black Panther Wakanda the weekend after it came out. And even then, it was like sparse, very sparse. It wasn't not too many people. So I don't know what's happening with the movie theaters. I think, yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're getting better. Who knows? Yeah. Overall, this movie was confusing as hell, especially if you didn't watch the other movies or you don't remember them. But here's the thing: it was great. So even if this is the only Evangelion movie you've ever seen, I say watch it. It's pretty great, even if you've just watched a couple episodes of the show. And it's crazy to see how far the show's come. The main girl, the captain, I remember watching a TV show when she wasn't a captain, or the head of everything. So it's been years, and it's a great series, and yeah, great movies. I would say Evangelion's up there with anime movies. Their whole anime series, and maybe like top 5. There are a lot of animes that have a lot of movies, but Evangelion story wise may be up there. Dragon Ball I think is also up there. With the amount of like, not, I would say just tier list of who has the best movies. Anime wise, Evangelion's up there. I don't know. I can't rank them all now. I would need to. That's a good video idea though. Ranking anime movie and just out of people's favorites. That's not bad actually. I might do that. But yeah, overall this was very good. Very good. The action again was amazing. So thanks for watching.